everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 17 and compare it against the iPhone 6s Plus and see which particular iPhone is a better one for you. Now, in every single way I can imagine, the iPhone 6s Plus is it's not as good of an iPhone as something like the iPhone 17. So that is one of those big things to keep in mind here, right? There just doesn't really make a lot of sense to go and buy something like an iPhone 6s Plus when the iPhone 17 is on the table. But if you're looking for phones to go and upgrade to, then getting something like an iPhone 17 is a very good device, but there are lots of iPhones in between that also make a lot of sense to go and buy as well. So we'll take a look at all these devices throughout the whole entire video. If you want to go through and pick up some iPhones that I would recommend buying this year, links will be down in the description below. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these phones. The iPhone 6s Plus originally came out back in 2015. So this phone is, a couple of years old as of this point. So it isn't really like the latest and greatest anymore. It is a older device, but it was a really good phone when it first came out. So this thing on the front side was giving you a large, at the time, 5.5-inch IPS LCD panel. So this type of screen, this type of phone at the time, was a really good type of panel. It looked very good. It was giving you very good type of capability. And I would imagine that if you're going to go through and pick up a phone, this thing was still giving you a really good type of display. It was a, IPS panel. It was 1080p. There really wasn't anything else super crazy going on with it. Obviously, there's lots of bezel on it. There's the home button, 6 Hz panel, non-OLED. It's definitely not a phone that I would look at and be like, oh my goodness, this phone is going to hold up very, very well. But it is one of those phones that I can kind of see. I can be like, okay, it was a good phone back then. The iPhone 17 is also an extension of, what the iPhone 6s Plus brought back in the day, right? It's just a much better type of panel. On this one, you're getting a 6.3-inch LTPO Super Retina XDR OLED display. So this type of panel, as you can imagine, is also going to be very, very good. This type of panel, this type of screen is going to be giving you a very good type of experience. It's going to be almost perfect. This phone is going to be very large. It's going to be a smaller size than the 6s Plus, but it's going to be a very large display. 3000 nits of peak brightness. That right there is amazing. Having that type of panel right then and there is awesome, and that's going to hold up very well. You're also going to be getting the dynamic island, which is great, way less bezel, and it's going to be a 120 Hz display. That right there is also going to be another really nice thing. Being able to go through and get that type of experience within that type of panel, I think is something that's really awesome. And that right there is going to hold up very well just from that side in and of itself, which, like I said before, in and of itself is very, very good. Now, the iPhone 17 is also giving you a USB Type-C port at the bottom, which again, that is very nice to have. You're also going to be able to go through, the 6s Plus has Lightning, which is a little bit of a downside. Headphone jack on the iPhone 6s Plus. The iPhone 17 is also going to be able to go through and still maintain a frosted glass back on the back side of that phone with a dual camera setup. The iPhone 6s Plus is just going to be giving you that single camera setup, which can be a little bit of a downside depending on who you are. Overall though, the iPhone 17 is going to hold up very well. That's going to be the phone that when I look at, that's the one I'm going to recommend people to buy. Whereas with something like an iPhone 6s Plus, I think, like I said before, it was a great phone at the time. It just doesn't make that much sense to buy it anymore. On top of that, as it comes down to basically their overall, price tag, the iPhone 6s Plus isn't really going to be, an expensive phone anymore. It's going to be very cheap in today's standards. Kind of keep that in mind. It's going to be probably like $60, probably even cheaper than that. Whereas with something like an iPhone 17, this one's going to be substantially more expensive. That one's going to be around $800. So from that side too, if you're trying to go through and buy the phone that is going to be giving you a little bit of a better experience, at that $800 price tag, then something like an iPhone, 17, that one probably, it's just going to be substantially more expensive. So that is going to be one of those things to keep in mind there as well. Now, on top of that, I think if you're going to go through and buy some of these phones, another very important thing to keep in mind here too, is that with something like an iPhone 17, this phone is going to be giving you a dual camera setup. So this phone is going to be giving you two 48 megapixel cameras. The iPhone 6s Plus is really only going to be giving you a single 12 megapixel sensor on the backside. So that right there is also going to be another big thing, because if you are trying to go through and get the phone that is going to be giving you a better type of experience, well, once again, something like an iPhone 6s Plus is probably going to be the one that's just not going to be as good. I think there could be a time, that the iPhone 17 did a really good job that was going to be giving you a better experience. But as you can imagine, in almost every single way as of this point, an iPhone 17, it's just not, it's just going to be so much better. It's not even fair, So if you're trying to get the phone that's going to be giving you that better type of experience, the iPhone 17 is going to be the one that's going to be giving you a substantially better type of camera in almost every single way I can imagine. Now, on top of that, another very important thing too, is that with something like an iPhone 17 and the 6S Plus, another very important aspect here is that the iPhone 17 is just getting started with software support, where the iPhone 6S Plus is already done getting software support. So if you are trying to go through and get a device that is going to be giving you a longer software support, the iPhone 17 is pretty much just getting started. That type of phone is the phone that's just getting started with software support. And I would imagine that if you are trying to go through and get, that type of experience, well, something like an iPhone 17, that one is going to be the one that is going to be giving you kind of that better type of experience, from that side. As well as battery life, the iPhone 17 is stated as to be giving you, kind of decent battery life for the most part. It's going to be much, much better than the iPhone 6S Plus's battery life. So that right there is also going to be another big takeaway. So it's just kind of these situations where we look at and we're just like, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense when you compare these types of devices, where the iPhone 17 holds up so much better, where the 6S Plus is going to be kind of in that average type of, the iPhone 6S Plus just doesn't really make too much sense to go and buy anymore. So that is another big thing. Now, on top of that, another very, very big thing to keep in mind here too, is that with the iPhone 17, this one is going to be giving you the Apple A19 chipset inside with 8 gigs of RAM. The iPhone 6S Plus is going to be giving you the Apple A9 chipset with 2 gigabytes of RAM. So this right there, another very big takeaway. If you are trying to go and get the phone, get something like the iPhone 17. There's really no competition here in almost every single way you can imagine. The iPhone 17 is just going to be substantially faster. I just can't really think of a way where the 6S Plus is going to be that faster type of device, right? Like, I just can't really think of it. I do think the iPhone 6S Plus is going to be substantially slower. It's going to be showing its age. And when you look at these two phones, the iPhone 17 is going to be the one that is it's going to be the nicer one. It's going to be the one that looks really, really good. And I would imagine that if you are going to go through and pick up the device, the iPhone 17 is probably going to be the one that is just going to be so much better. So that's kind of how I see these types of devices holding up for the most part, right? I see these types of phones and I'm just like, well, it makes a lot more sense to go through and buy something like an iPhone 17. But there are a lot of phones in between that are also very good. Phones like the iPhone 15 or even 14 Pro, those phones are very big upgrades coming from the iPhone 6S Plus. You can even go and buy an iPhone 13 Pro, like a 13 Pro from 2021, 4 years old phone. That phone is also going to be substantially better in almost every single way than something like an iPhone, 6S Plus. I think if you have all the money in the world, then definitely go for something like an iPhone 6S, the iPhone 17. That one is definitely going to be far better. But like I said, if you are wanting the phone that's going to be a little bit better here and there, the 17 is just going to be substantially better in almost every single way. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.